Fortnite just announced their first update of the season with massive nerfs to the cars as well as a whole bunch of other items. But is it enough to save the season for a lot of people who are really not happy with how Fortnite is right now? I also want to talk about the official announcement that Mongraal and Savage are moving to NA and they are going to compete in FNCS in NA this season. Also, we have a $1.25 million Fortnite tournament being announced, the esports World Cup. I want to talk about how it's going to work and I will explain why I'm currently in a hotel room. There's a lot to talk about. Let's jump into it. Now, Mongraal and Savage moving to NA. This probably surprised you a lot if you don't follow my content. If you do, you know that we called this a while ago. As soon as Savage and Mongraal didn't make grand finals last season, Savage went on to on-stream say that he's not splitting up with Mongraal because he has big plans for this season. And I predicted right then that I think the legendary duo is moving to NA. A lot of people question me on this. Looks like it was correct. Once I saw Venno and Tayson go, I knew it was pretty much all but confirmed that Mongraal and Savage would be going, but they took a while to announce it. The duo is already in NA. They filmed this video with clicks and posted it on Mr. Savage's Twitter.
We're taking over NA.
Shut the
The rest of that video is live on Mr. Savage's Twitter if you want to go check it out. I'm super excited to see how this duo does on NA. We now have Venno, Tayson, Mongraal, Savage. We have Yatko, Kylie, so many pros moving over to NA. This season is going to be stacked, but it raises the question, have all these pros now made it even harder to qualify on NA than EU? I think for Mongraal and Savage, like I said, with the content they're going to make, it honestly doesn't matter, but I think this team can definitely make grand finals this season on NA, especially if Mongraal is locked in and grinding alongside Mr. Savage. It's going to be exciting. We now have two official EU duos competing on NA. We now have Mixon and Blaha and Mongraal and Savage, as well as a lot of the other hybrid duos like Venno and Clicks, like Tayson and Yomzo. So I am so excited to watch NA this season.
Let's kick off talking about the update first and all the massive changes they've made. Obviously, I have to address, yes, I'm recording this from a hotel room. I'm actually at DreamHack Dallas. I've flown from Sydney to Dallas for this event. I'll be streaming all of the tournament on my Twitch channel. I'll go into how that's going to work later. Let's talk about the update first. So Fortnite Games made this tweet. We've unvaulted boogie bombs as well as made some balance adjustments to some features. I'll talk about the exact values of these balance changes in a little bit. So they've reduced machine gun turret accuracy and grenade launcher turret damage to structures. They've reduced vehicle health in solos. The boss cars do not automatically regen health anymore. Boosted damage dealt to vehicles from boom bolts, so they're now buffed. Increased nitro gauntlets recharge time, nerfing them, and reducing nitro shoulder bash damage to players. Now, let's talk about what the actual values are before we talk about whether these are good or bad changes. So firstly, this is from Asari and they ran all the stats. The nitro bash player damage is from 75 down to 25, and that is a huge nerf to this item, but it doesn't change the structure damage at all. So instead of being able to just run straight through walls and then instantly kill people, you now have to run straight through walls and then shoot them to kill them. It won't do as much damage, which I do still think is a good change. If you've seen some of the clips of how endgames are playing out in competitive right now, it is just people running through walls, not even pulling a gun out and just running through people and killing them. So it's a good change, but I do think there needs to be a bit more of a balance change made to the structure damage of the nitro bash because that is still extremely strong. But it is kind of funny to watch, so we'll see. Nitro vehicle weapon shoot speed went from 1.5 to 1.25. So honestly, the vehicle weapons are still extremely strong. They're still gonna be really annoying to verse, and if you're playing pubs and ranked, you're still gonna wanna be in a vehicle. It hasn't changed that much. Now, gauntlet recharge rate from 8 to 11. That is a massive change to the gauntlets, but a lot of people are hoping for a nerf to the actual punching ability. Again, if you've watched competitive or played any Fortnite this season, you know how strong the fists are at just punching people down. Again, no one even using their guns. So they're nerfing the rotation aspect of them, which I do think is quite strong. These are basically katanas with 4 charges, and they're recharging every 8 seconds. So in competitive endgames of just everyone flying through the sky, I don't want to see this item nerfed too badly. I still want it to be meta like the wings weren't. People used the wings in grand finals, but throughout the season they were kind of boring and didn't really do much. And I talked about how they could have been such an iconic item for that season, and they were a bit underwhelming. I don't want the gauntlets to get nerfed that badly, but I do still think they need even more nerfs on top of this. Maybe only 3 charges, not 4. Maybe there's a cooldown between the charges. I want it to be a strong item, but I don't want it to be as strong as it currently is. So a step in the right direction, but they've made no nerf to the actual physical damage of the gloves, which is a pretty big problem in my opinion. So the mortar structure damage from 250 down to 150, so it's not gonna blow up builds as quickly. If you have the mortar turret, again, pretty cool, but it doesn't affect competitive much. Vehicles aren't there. I still think ranked and pubs is gonna be ran by vehicles, so machine gun spread from 0.6 up to 1 is a pretty big nerf. They have now basically doubled the pellet spread of the machine gun turret, which at this point was basically a dead straight laser. So that is quite a big nerf to the turret again, but as long as you're still inside a car with over 1,000 health and no one can really shoot you while you're on the turret, I still think the cars are gonna be extremely strong. Now, crossbow vehicle multiplier. So the actual crossbow boom bolt now does 3.7 times damage to vehicles instead of 3, which is a little bit of a nerf to the vehicles. Again, you can now blow them up a little bit faster, but still they're gonna be extremely strong. And then solo vehicle health is 18% less. I don't know why they only nerf the vehicles in solos. I do still think even in duos, maybe not squads when you got 4 people aiming at them, the vehicles were extremely healthy. But again, it's what a lot of people are worried about. This whole season is themed around vehicles. If you nerf them too badly, no one's gonna use them and it defeats the purpose. And I don't think these nerfs are gonna do that at all. I still think if you wanna get free wins in ranked and pubs, you're just gonna abuse the vehicles. They haven't nerfed them like crazy. And again, the boss cars now don't infinitely recharge, which is a really good change. But the main change to vehicles is gonna be the boogie bombs. Being able to instantly boogie bomb people out of the car and then pump them and put pressure on them is really good. But if you don't do enough damage, they're just gonna get straight back in the car and drive away again anyway, unless you have an EMP. They've said they're adding EMPs to the game soon. They're not in just yet, but maybe with boogie bombs and EMPs combined, the current fights around vehicles will be a little bit more interesting than they currently are. So I don't think they've nerfed the vehicles as hard as what a lot of people are hoping, but hopefully it's not so much of a nerf. The casuals are still happy playing the vehicle royale they currently are. But as far as this change goes for competitive, which is mostly what I care about, it hasn't really done much. The gauntlet recharge rate is probably the biggest nerf, and they're still extremely strong. Players are still having people nitro dash through all of their walls, and they still have people just using the gloves to punch them down and not even shoot a single bullet. So competitive hasn't really changed at all. It is worth mentioning currently the boogie bombs aren't in competitive, except they are in zero build competitive. So that is going to be probably quite frustrating for zero build players to deal with. But if you're a builds pro, you aren't going to have to worry about boogie bombs in tournaments, just in ranked. All right, so what is going on with the $1.25 million Fortnite tournament that just got announced? So the Esports World Cup is a massive tournament of $60 million prize pool spanning a bunch of different esports titles like Valorant, Counter-Strike, Rocket League, and one of them is Fortnite. The finals is gonna have a $1 million prize pool and 16 teams are gonna compete at Riyadh in person. But how is this all working? There is one LAN qualifier, which is Dallas, which is why I'm here. DreamHack Dallas, $250,000 prize pool, as well as the top 6 teams going from this to Riyadh. Now, there are some massive teams here. In case you guys haven't seen it, we have some big names here. We have Mustache and Malibu Crew flown out for this. We have some big NA teams. If you guys didn't see, Clicks just signed the XSET squad. They've been doing really well in NA. The first XSET signed pro players in Fortnite. We have Muzz, Trashy, Ritual, and Edgy. They've been dominating the EU scene. We also have Fredoxy, Hellfire, Thomas HD, and Kiro, who have absolutely been dominating the EU scene. We just had Fredoxy actually get picked up by Hero, the same org that Thomas HD is in, so it's looking like they might actually sign the entire team for this. We also have some other big teams coming from around the world. We have Sinnoh coming from over in Asia. We have Tayson attending. We have an OCE power squad, Alex, Worthy, Volks, Luda. There are some massive squads here. I'll be covering all the action on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Aussie Antics. I'll be live for a lot of the event, but it's a pretty big weekend. We have some big tournaments. So we have 3 days of competition. The first day is just all of the teams playing for a Swiss stage. They're just trying to win as many games they can to get better seeding going into the second day. Saturday will then be a double elimination bracket. So obviously if you lose 2 games, you get knocked out. And then the final day is going to be the 16 best teams competing in a best of 5 finals, again, double elimination style. At the end of that, the top 6 teams are going to go through to Riyadh for the finals, but you probably noticed that's only 6 teams out of 16. How are the other teams making it to the Esports World Cup? $1 million prize pool. So there are going to be online qualifiers that anyone can play in, and this is how they're split up. There's 2 teams from Europe, 2 teams from North America, 2 from Latin America, the Brazil region, 2 from Middle East and Africa, 1 from Asia Pacific and Japan, and 1 from OCE. A lot of people upset that Europe is only getting 2 spots, same as some of the other regions, when again there are so many more players, but I think a lot of EU's best teams are currently here at DreamHack Dallas, same with NA, so they're going to take up a large portion of those 6 spots. But if you guys want to play, if you've been enjoying the game mode, you can play in these these online qualifiers from home. They're gonna run from June 28th to July 7th. Now, as far as what is the actual tournament, is it builds, is it no builds? It's the new ESL game modes. You've probably seen a bunch of pros playing in them. There is the hard point map, which is obviously a bunch of different hard points around the map. You have to capture them. The longer you hold them for, the more points you get, the more points wins, and then capture the flag. Pretty simple. You capture the flag, whoever captures more flags wins. There's also a third game mode that just got created. It's a search and destroy type game mode. It's shrinking zones. Instead of planting a bomb like you would in a traditional game, you plant the zone and it shrinks in. That game is not going to be featured here at DreamHack Dallas, but it will be featured in the Esports World Cup Finals. So it's going to be an exciting tournament. It's very, very different to what we've seen in Fortnite. Because there's only 4 players on a team, it's 4v4 game modes. It means we have a whole bunch of massive orgs showing up with big prize money, but it's not the typical battle royale you've seen. So it's a lot more conventional esports. There's no RNG. It is more competitive, but it isn't featuring a lot of those kind of features you're used to in Fortnite battle royale. So we've never seen anything like this before, and normally I'd be very skeptical. I'd be very worried about this, but if anyone's going to pull this off, it's going to be ESL, one of the most legendary groups when it comes to esports. They've been running the Counter-Strike scene for decades now, and I'm excited to see what they do with Fortnite. This weekend should really show how good this game mode can be when we see the best of the best going at it. Don't worry if you guys can't catch the action on my Twitch channel. I am currently making a vlog. It's why I'm filming on this camera. That'll be live on my YouTube channel, breaking down the event, hanging out with pros, doing meet and greets with the fans. It's gonna be a cool weekend. If you can't catch it on Twitch, don't worry. I will be uploading a vlog. Hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you in the next video.